Hi, I'm John Lincoln with Ignite Visibility, and today I want to talk to you about how to do an internal linking strategy on your website. I can't tell you how many times we've gone in and improved an internal linking strategy on a site. We've seen the top pages and top terms shoot up, as well as other pages that are on the site that are deeper inside of the site structure get indexed and ranking better. So this is definitely one video that you're going to want to watch. Okay, so first, what is an internal linking strategy? Well, it's basically the way that you hyperlink pages together on your website. And there's a couple different elements that go into it. For example, you're going to be looking at things like your navigation. Your navigation on your site creates a lot of internal links. So whatever's in the header of your website and whatever HTML links are inside of the header of your website are actually very, very important. So then kind of moving further down, whatever's in the body of the page is also going to have internal links. Now, the body on the page is on a template by template basis, right? So your home page is going to be on one type of template, your category page on another type of template, your service or your product page on another type of template, subcategories, and so on and so forth, right? And then specific landing pages. So each one of those templates has HTML content on it. And that HTML content generally will have some hyperlinks or will not have some hyperlinks. And it's really important that we look at how those hyperlinks exist on the website and how they relate to other pages on the website, because that actually matters a lot to crawlers. As we move further down the page, we get into the footer. Now, the footer is another element that has hyperlinks on it and can be incredibly important for just internal linking and for helping crawlers like Google and these other search engines get further into your website. So the overall thing to keep in mind is we have to be very deliberate about our header. We have to be very deliberate about the internal linking inside of the content on the page and the footer and the links inside of the footer. Now, the content on the page is generally some of the most important links on some levels. And let me explain that. So if you have an internal link inside of content on a page that has a lot of authority, meaning there's a lot of other links out there on the web that link to this page, if that page inside of the content links to another important page on your site with that exact term, that exact anchor text, if you don't know what anchor text is, that's basically the term inside of the HTML that's linked to. So if I made a hyperlink with a term like SEO company and linked to my SEO company page, SEO company would be the anchor text. So that's very important, because if you link inside of the content of that page on a very important page with a lot of other links coming in to another important page, that passes that link weight on to that other page and helps that other page rank higher, okay? So that's an important thing to kind of consider about the in-content links. Now, when you're looking at the navigation links are also very important, as well as the footer links, for another reason. They are on every single page of your website. So that's a clear indicator to search engines that if you have a link inside of the header or the footer, that they definitely need to check out this page, they definitely need to index it. And overall, the more links that are pointing at a specific page, the clearer signal, the more internal links that are pointing at a specific page, the clearer signal that is to Google that that is an important page on your website. So if you have one link pointing at a page, that's one vote. If you have 1,000, that's 1,000 votes, right? If you have 1,000,000, it's 1,000,000 votes, and so on and so forth to rank that page higher. Now, the last element to that is, the global links are pretty important, the footer links pretty important, but these in-content links on highly authoritative pages that have a lot of other links pointing at them are the most important, just on kind of a one-to-one basis. And that's all determined based off of how many other links are pointing at that specific page. So just some general information to get us started there. Okay, so now I want to just give you a general overview on how to do internal linking. And this is something I could talk to you a lot about. It's something I've taught in some of the classes that we have at UC San Diego. It's something I've taught staff about, but I just want to give you a basic overview so that you can understand more of it than most people. So when you look at the navigation, you want to make sure that all of your most important pages are in there. But you generally don't want to have a navigation that's too bloated. Why? Because you really don't want too many links on a page, because then it diminishes the quality of each of those links, right? The authority of each of those links, and it can kind of confuse the crawler. So there's a lot of kind of like back and forth on this online. Google used to say 100 links on the page. Then, you know, a lot of people started saying, well, it should be 300 links on a page. Moz talked about that and some of their content. But you know, Google eventually kind of removed those guidelines, right? That being said, you know, there's this whole idea around, you know, kind of page sculpting. And page sculpting is this concept that you want to make sure you kind of understand every element of the page and how that relates to the rest of the website. And we could go more into that. But when it comes to your navigation, you want to think about the ratio of links in that navigation to your footer to the body, right? Because if you use, say, 20% out of 300 links and you want to make sure that you're maintaining 300 links on a page, then that only gives you that other 80% of links to use within the rest of the page to your important elements on the page. So for big sites, like if you're a very big website, this stuff becomes very important, right? So in your navigation, for example, right, you might only want to have 100 links or 50 links because you know that you're going to have another 50 or 100 in your footer, and there's going to be X amount inside of your individual content. And maybe you only want, you know, 150 or 250 on the page. For my recommendation, it's different for every site. So I can't tell you exactly how many links you should have on your page because there's so many things that go into that business decision. But generally, you know, 50 to 200 or so is going to be about right for most websites. If you're starting to get kind of over 300, it's feeling like a lot, right? And there's probably something wrong there. So with your top navigation, put your most important pages inside of your top navigation and make sure that they're accessible. Inside of the body of your content, you know, you're going to have a little bit of a different strategy. So with content, the way that you want to lay those out is generally within the top part of any individual piece of content, whether it's a blog post or an HTML page. You want to link to, within the first link, you want to link to a very important page that you want to rank higher on the internet, right? So what are your top 10, 20 pages on your website? Put that into an Excel sheet, and then in the beginning, link to one of those pages. In your secondary link, you probably also want to link to one of those pages. As you get further down inside of your content, you want to link to pages that are on the same level as that piece of content, right? So your first two pages, or first two links, you're linking to pages that are kind of more important, that you're trying to push authority to. Your next one's on the same level. And then further down, you're going to want to link to basically pages that are further down inside of the site architecture. And what that does is that creates kind of like this nice foundation that you can use for internal linking throughout the website. And it's very, very effective for Google, for the crawler, and it kind of makes sense from a hierarchy standpoint. So that in a way is internal linking in a nutshell, but there's no hard and fast rules. And then you generally, inside of your content, you only want to link for every 50 to 150 words. You don't want to put too many links. You don't want to have too few links in there. 50 to 150 words is just about right. Also, not to make it too much more complicated, but you want to make sure that you're keeping those links on topic, right? So when Google crawls that page, they want to see links that are relevant to that individual piece of content. If you're spraying stuff all over that doesn't really adhere and relate, then it's not gonna, that page isn't gonna rank as well, and it's not going to channel the link weight and authority over to that other page as well as it could. Okay, so now we're getting into the last element, which is the footer. So the footer, there's a couple different things that go on there. Generally, you want to put in your most important links that go to other, important pages on your site, right? Make sure you're linking to that with the correct anchor text. That can be really, really helpful for Google to understand that they should rank this page for this thing. You also want to link to an HTML sitemap. So every website should have an HTML sitemap. If you're a big site with millions and millions of pages though, you can't put every single link on your HTML sitemap. So you actually need to create a tiered sitemap. So in your first sitemap, you might put in 100 links. And then once you click on a couple of those links that are in the tiered sitemap, it takes you to another sitemap that has another 100 links and so on and so forth. That helps you develop that site architecture that's going to be really effective for Google and other search engines to crawl. A really good example of this is go take a look at LinkedIn's footer. They've done a great job with how they've done their tiered sitemap. And we could certainly help you with that as well. Other things in your sitemap, if you have international websites, you generally want to link to those there as well. So sites that are in different countries and sites that are in different languages, that is a great place to make sure that you're linking out to those so that people can find it. Okay, so the last thing that I'll say on internal linking is you can always use something called the nofollow attribute. And what that does is that makes it so that Google doesn't follow the link and pass credit. So if you have too many links on a page and you really need to, you could put some nofollows on some of those. If you don't want to push too much link weight to other pages on your site, you can nofollow those as well to kind of keep the authority within the single page that you're on. And there's a lot of kind of banter online about the effectiveness of this. I believe in it to some degree and have used it on certain cases. So that's it for internal linking today. A lot of information around it. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it and working on it with very, very large websites and smaller websites. Every website should know their top pages. Every website should have an internal linking strategy that goes to those. And then it gets much more advanced from there, especially with really big sites, e-commerce sites or lead generation sites with multiple tabs and many pages and things like that. So hopefully this is helpful for you, and I can't wait to see you for the next video. Have a great day.